Welcome to the U.S. Kiss Vinyl Reference YouTube channel. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Alright, welcome folks. This is a kind of a in-between episode, I guess. It's not super long by any means, but I did something kind of cool this past weekend. It's a Sunday for me right now, but this all happened yesterday. So I used to do record shows quite a bit in my area. There was two different places I would do them. It was Joplin, Missouri, and Springfield, Missouri, and there was 2 a year at each one, so I would do 4 a year. Well, last year I had a lot of trouble with my lower back and ended up having to have surgery, and I ended up going ahead and getting out of it, the record show thing. So I sold off all of my record show stock, and I just don't want to schlep that stuff around anymore with my back the way it is. But anyway, all of that stuff aside, so I noticed a friend of mine was doing a lot of record shows around his area, which is about 4 or 5 hours to the south and west of me in Oklahoma City. And I reached out to him and told him, I was like, hey, we have record shows up here. I know we're kind of far away, but, we do 2 a year up here. I think you do really good up here. And so he told me he'd check it out. Well, it just so turned out that the record show that went on yesterday, he was a part of. He had a table there. And so I drove up there because, I've been friends with this guy for a while on Facebook, and I was like, well, hell, he's driving five hours to get up here, 3, 4, 5 hours. I was like, man, I gotta go meet the guy, So I wanted to meet him, just to meet him, And then, so if you may remember, there have been a couple of episodes over on another buddy's channel of mine, Kiss My Collectibles, about a certain rock and roll over EP, which I wasn't planning on pulling anything out, but I'll grab mine real quick. It was about a certain rock and roll over EP. So, if you look back to my rock and roll over episode, you'll see this one. It's black and white, and I touch on a color one that I've kind of had words with people about over the years, all in fun, But anyway, so this friend that's doing the record shows, I'm just going to go ahead and throw his name out there now. So I went up there to meet John Humphrey. There's a picture of he and I together. He has that color EP, and he was in a couple of those episodes about that color EP on Kiss My Collectibles. And the second one, I actually came in after we both butchered our copies up to look for nerdy shit. But anyway, so I want to go meet John just to meet John, because we've been friends. But I figured while in Rome, so I reached out to him. I said, hey, I know it's kind of a big ask and all, but could you bring that record up so I can kind of look and feel and, go through all the checks, as they say. And he agreed to it, and so I took a little trip up there and chronicled my journey a little bit. I did the best I could, but I ran out of a little bit of space on my phone, so I didn't get as much as I would like, but I think I got enough for something cohesive, so let's check it out. All right, it is 7 a.m. on the dot, and I am pulling out of my driveway right now, headed towards Carthage for something. So, stay tuned, y'all. All right. An hour later, I have arrived. Still a little bit before I'm able to go in, so I'm inhaling a little breakfast sandwich here. And I'm going to meet up with a couple of buddies outside here, and then we're going to meet up with another buddy inside and get this episode rolling. So, folks, this is John Humphrey's copy that we did an episode about here a while back, and I don't know, man. I'm a little closer to the fence now. That silver really pops out.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this thing. Look this over real good. I mean, that thing does.
It's crazy, isn't it?
John, I'm going to tell you, bud, it's just like you said. If this thing is a counterfeit, it is the best damn counterfeit you've ever had. Yeah, that silver does pop.
Yeah. Just wish,
I wish we could find out more about it.
I've asked a couple. Kenny Ryback, he used to work at Casablanca. Was an independent promoter. I worked with him when I was with the Nixons, and I still keep in touch with him. And I've sent him pictures and talked to him, and he's like, man, I don't remember. I have no idea. I can't tell you.
I mean, that spine is good.
Oh, hey. Can I have you sign this for me?
Absolutely.
Here, let me get out of your way. I've known Lynn for years, so he won't mind me being back here.
Oh, you can make it all to me. That'd be awesome. Austin? Yeah. Thank you so much. Can I get a picture with you too?
So what did I think about it? Well, now that I've actually held one in my hands, I mean, it's hard to discount it. I mean, boxes were checked, man. You know, the look of it and the smell of it, the feel of it, the print. I mean, to echo what John has said quite a few times about the record, if it is a counterfeit, it's the best damn one he's ever had. And I mean, I'm kind of there with him on it now. Do I have a judgment on whether I think it's real or fake? I really don't think I'll ever have a judgment on that, but I mean, it's definitely, it's not counterfeit, like, obviously, you know. You're not going to look at it and see, like, the feel of the jacket and everything like the newer counterfeits that are coming out. It doesn't feel nothing like that. It's got the right look and feel to it. So,
man, I don't know what to think about it. So I'll have to sit with it for a day or two, or whenever I get all this crap edited together. But I want to extend many, many thanks out to John for bringing that all the way up here from Oklahoma City. It's quite a drive, and that's a pretty expensive record to be lugging around just because some guy with a YouTube channel and a little bit of a mouth on him wants to see it. So I do appreciate that, John. And yeah, we'll see what I think here in a little bit.
All right, so there's my little journey there, and yeah, I got cut off a little bit. Like I said, I ran out of room on my phone, so I didn't get as much as I liked. But so I mean, the big question is, what do I think? And I filmed a little bit of me checking out the record. I didn't go over everything with my phone because I ran out, and so, I mean, I looked inside the jacket. That checked the box. It was old. It felt right. It felt like the inside of this jacket here, which we all know beyond a shadow of a doubt came from 76. And, it might have even been a little more yellowed than this one, but we're also talking about a well-lit record show and a lot of yellow and orange on the jacket that could have been bleeding through. The smell of it. I mean, the smell was right, so it did not smell new or newish. And so when I got to that record show, I paid the lady at the table and I beamed it right for John's table. And we did this within 2 minutes of the doors opening. I was at his table. So I looked it over, I felt it, I smelled it. I mean, it started looking at all the boxes. The silver ink popped out. The one main obvious sign that I was looking for, and good Lord if I ain't got to pull more crap out. So, the thing that I look for the most, if you notice on the regular album, that saw blade picture is pretty big compared to this one. They shrunk this one down a little bit. And on John's copy, the saw blade was this size. So the one thing I was looking for, because this logo is gone and this logo is gone and it's replaced with text. So I was looking for obvious signs of basically like an early 90s version of cut and paste, which in my mind would be that they would just like put something black here to cover that logo up and then like scan it, or you know what I mean. So I was looking for obvious signs of that. I couldn't find it. Couldn't find any like black outlines or anything like that. And the silver on the makeup, the silver on the text down below, that popped out. And for a long time I was under the impression that that would have been pretty easy to do, really. And I have been told by a few friends that have worked in the design and print industry for several years that silver is, it's actually a special process. So apparently it's not as easy to do as I thought. So I looked this stuff over, and then I immediately go around and I find records from the 70s, from the 80s, and from the early 90s. And I start comparing those jackets to what I just felt. The first one that I found was a copy of Ram It Down by Judas Priest, which was released in 1988. So it was released about the time frame that I was thinking that John's Color Rock and Roll Over was released. And I felt it, I smelled it. The guy, it was somebody else's table. He was just looking at me kind of funny, and I told him, I'm just trust me on this. I'm not crazy. My mom had me tested. So yeah, I'm feeling it, I'm smelling it, I'm looking inside the jacket, and I mean, it does feel the same, it does look the same, kind of smells the same, but at the same time, I'd pick up a copy of Rock and Roll Over from somebody else's table. I'd pick it up. One that I knew was a first issue, and that jacket felt right. It smelled right. Everything smelled the same. So, I mean, at the very least, and I've said this in the past, at the very least, this jacket was printed in a professional facility. There's no denying that. Me and John both cut our jackets open, and we had matching patent numbers, so that and the stock was real similar. So, there's no denying that it was printed in a professional facility. Was it officially done? That's the big question. The record inside the jacket, there's no question that it's real. It's legitimate. He let me look at his record, matched up with mine perfectly. The numbers, the labels. I mean, that was all. That all matched my black and white copy. So I have no doubts at all about the record. He had a buddy with him, Jake Daniels from I forget the call number or the radio station numbers in Oklahoma City, but the call letters are KATT. I'm sorry, Jake. I met a lot of people yesterday, but anyway, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, okay, yeah. Jake threw out the idea of a prototype, and I'm pretty sure that's something that John and I and Herndon have discussed also. And I mean, you can't discount it. It could have been something that was printed up and, maybe waiting for somebody's approval, be it band management, whoever. And I know coming from a manufacturing background, when I would start a new run on a part, I would run like 10 pieces or something like that. And I would check each one for spec and then overall for consistency. And they could have did something similar with jackets. They could have printed off like 10 jackets, checked the colors for consistency and any other errors or anything like that. And then in the meantime, somebody could have shot that idea down, be it the cost of printing it in color or, the fact that his EP has the entire album on the back, the track listing right here, which would confuse folks because, it's only got 5 songs on it. So it could have been shot down for a number of reasons. Well, they've got these jackets here. Why not? Somebody might have just kind of took them home for a keepsake and then maybe married a couple up with an actual record just for shits and grins, it's hard to say. But, I mean, overall, I do believe that jacket is of the time period. But, I mean, there is no way to tell whether that jacket is official or not. So, I mean, as far as it being done in somebody's basement in the early mid-'80s, I don't think that, the average person would have had the technology to do that level of a printing job on a jacket in the mid 80s in their basement. So that's kind of where I stand on it. This might ruffle a couple more feathers, you know, because I was staunchly way over on that side of the fence going, no, that thing's fake. There's nothing real about it. And I mean, I'm at least sitting on top of the fence. I mean, as far as when and how it was printed, I'm firmly entrenched over here now that it was professionally done. So there's just no way to tell whether it was official or not. And at this point, you know, we're talking 47, 48 years later, there's really not going to be any way to tell if it was official or not, because, you know, John and I and Jake were talking at the record show, and, you know, I told him, I was like, say somebody was working at these printing plants or pressing plants when they was 18, 20 years old, you know, now they're pushing 70. So are they going to remember a small run of a Kiss record that they did, you know, just as part of their job? I mean, hell, some of these people probably didn't give two shits about Kiss, you know, is just running it through a machine and getting their paycheck and going home. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. So I've changed my outlook a little bit. So, and as I stated in the main body of my video, I want to extend a huge thanks to John Humphrey for that, and you know, bringing that record that far. I mean, good Lord, there's all kinds of variables that could have happened there that, you know, need not be mentioned, but he took another one for the team, so I could put my eyes on it, and man, I'm truly grateful for that. And you know, just a hell of a guy to talk to, real nice guy, very humble. He's not a damn rock star, you know, of the typical sense, you know, when you picture somebody walking into the room that's like some famous, you know, guy that's just, you know, got his nose up in the air, and that is not John. So he was very approachable, and, you know, didn't feel the need to have 100 security guards around his table. He was just in there with, hell, he was in the middle, in the back, amongst everybody. So, you know, but it was a real pleasure to meet John, and I thank him really for bringing that record and letting me look at it. And you know, I bought a couple of records off of him, bought one off of Jake, and, you know, may have bought a Seether record to have John sign, which I thank for that again. You know, I didn't really want to ask the guy to sign it, you know, because, you know, he's at the record show, and, you know, kind of doing that to get away from work. That's how I always looked at it when I was doing record shows, you know, so I wasn't going to just like, hey, will you sign this for me? Because, you know, because then, you know, that's his job. And but anyway, I'm rambling, and I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. And I've changed my outlook on it, so take that for what it is. I understand there's still not a straight answer out of me, but I think that the answer got a little less wavy. So thanks for sticking around on this one, and we'll catch you next time.